Borodar Year 9, Miss McIntyre here. This short video is just to emphasise some important points and direct you to some important resources that you may find helpful in furthering your knowledge ahead of Year 10. So this morning's topic is introducing and doing an overview on relationships and sex education, known as RSE. Now, RSE aims to give young people the information that you need to develop healthy relationships of all kinds. Understanding what is needed for committed relationships is covered by RSE, and that also includes contraception, developing intimate relationships, and resisting pressure to have sex. RSE explains what is acceptable behaviour and what is unacceptable behaviour in relationships. And this is really something to be aware of and spend some time reflecting on, respecting yourself and respecting others. And two key signposting websites, and this resource is going to be emailed out to you as well for reference, is friskeywales.org and also themix.org.uk, which I will be referring to throughout this presentation. Now, we're going to be touching on some subjects during this presentation. We're not going to cover all of RSE today, but it's just to remind you some key points because we've had some feedback from pupils through school council just to get some key messages across to certain year groups before the end of the term. Starting off with consent. Sexual consent is an agreement to any sexual experience, be it touching someone, kissing someone, or having full sex with them. It also includes consent to sharing intimate photos, videos. It is illegal to share intimate photos and videos without the person's consent. Now, the age of consent is 16 in the UK, regardless of gender or sexual orientation. If you engage in any sexual activity without a person's consent, it is sexual assault or rape. So, to protect yourself and the person you're intimate with, it's really important to know you have consent. It is important to remember that someone cannot give valid consent if they are incapacitated from alcohol or other drugs. So how do you get consent? It's simple, you just ask. Now, if you feel you're in a position and you do need to get help because you're in a situation where consent hasn't been given, or you've been the victim of sexual assault, there are a number of services that you can get help from. So if you're being hurt, so in a relationship where you're being physically or emotionally hurt, anyone can experience this form of domestic abuse, which might be psychological, sexual, physical, financial, or even emotional. In any form, domestic abuse is unacceptable. Now, you can obviously call the police and other venues, but one key signposting here is Live Fear Free Helpline, which is run by Welsh Women's Aid. So if you do need help, there's a free 24-hour live fear-free helpline. And this helpline supports women and men experience domestic abuse. You can also contact them live by text or the email service. And again, this will be available to you to refer to via email later today. If you've been the victim of sexual assault, there are a number of services you can get help from. So if you're seeking help following a recent sexual assault, being a victim of sexual assault or abuse, you may be feeling confused and afraid and not know what to do next. Now, there are services that can help you. You don't have to report the assault to the police if you don't want to. You may need time to think about what has happened to you. However, consider getting medical help as soon as possible because you may be at risk of pregnancy or sexually transmitted infections, which we'll come across later. Now, in Wales, we have sexual assault referral centres, and these centres offer medical, practical and emotional support. They have specially trained NHS doctors, nurses and support workers to care for you and everybody else. Now, the one that's based in North Wales is known as Amethyst, and its number is here as well. And if you want to know where that's located, it's also on the Frisky Wales website. Now, focusing on a few more topics during this video, we're going to be looking at contraception. I'll be signposting to sexually transmitted infections and also focusing on sexting as well. So starting with contraception, as I'm sure you already know, this protects against unplanned pregnancy. Now, there are currently 15 methods of contraception in the UK. Condoms are the only contraception, however, that help to protect you from sexually transmitted infections. Now, the websites that are being signposted here is briskywales.org. So to find out a bit more on different types of contraception, you can go and visit briskywales.org as well as Brook website, which will be referred to later on. And through briskywales.org, it's literally, they've got tabs going across the top, if you can see it on the screen, and there's a contraception tab, and that will explain all the 15 types of contraception and signposting you to further information on it and sourcing it. Now, the barrier methods of contraception include diaphragms, condoms, and cervical caps. Now, these contraceptions work by preventing sperm from reaching an egg by creating a physical barrier between the two. Now, remember to focus here that the condom is the only contraception for protection against infections. So with the external condoms, these fit over an erect penis and is made of very thin latex rubber. Now, there are some individuals who have latex allergies where you can get other forms of plastic available in condoms. Now, the effectiveness is for the external condoms when they're used perfectly. They're 98% effective at preventing pregnancy with perfect use and 82% effective with typical use. Now, it's really important to remember that you use a new condom before you have sex each time. So each time you have sex, you need a new condom. Do not use it again once it's been used. And yes, as we've said, STI protection. So external condoms and internal condoms in this case are the only methods of contraception that help protect you from STIs. And those are sexual transmitted infections. Now, to access emergency contraception, which in this case can prevent pregnancy after unprotected sex or if your contraceptive method has failed, for example, if the condom has split or you've missed a pill, that if you are on the pill. You can access emergency contraception from your community pharmacies. And you can speak to someone in a pharmacy. You can speak to your GP. And locally here, you can also go and access it Mould Cottage Hospital and also the Integrated Sexual Health Clinic in King Street and Mould. Now, if you're not directly living locally to Mould and you're somewhere else at the time, you can find other source providers for emergency contraception via the website on this slide. And something else that's available in Wales, and it's been available in Wales for a number of years now, is the C-Card scheme you may have been aware of already. Now, all young people aged less than 25 years can access free, confidential sexual health advice and free condoms from the Condom Card, C-Card schemes across Wales. These schemes operate mainly from youth centres and voluntary organisations. To find where the C-Card scheme operates in your area, click on the website link above. Powys currently does not have a distribution centre, but this is being worked on. So you've got the link there, ccsimri.co.uk outlets find. And then you've got in Mould, your providers include Allen School. So our school is runs a C-Card scheme via the school nurse, and her number is later on in this PowerPoint. Again, the Integrated Sexual Health Clinic in King Street, and as well as Flintshire Sorted in Buckley, also provides the C-Card scheme for young people under 25. The final topic for this short presentation is internet safety. You need to be very careful about what you share via phone messages, via the internet. You should not upload or share anything you would not want your parents, teachers, colleagues, or friends to see. Once you upload or send, it is no longer private and can be downloaded and or shared by anybody. Once something is shared online, you no longer have control of it anymore. So it's really important that you do not send photos or videos of yourself to a stranger or to someone you've met online. Note that a person you have met online might not actually be who they say they are. You should never feel pressured to chat to someone online. And linking to this is sexting, and this refers to the use of technology to share sexual content. Content includes sexual photos or videos, full, partial nudity and sexual images. This could be between partners, peers and strangers, and it's often referred to as sending nudes. Now, there are risks involved when doing or partaking in sexting. When an image and or video is shared online, you're going to lose control of it completely. It becomes public, it can be saved by other people, shared by other people, or even copied by other people. It is wrong to share a nude or personal photo without that person's consent. It can be distressing for the victim, especially if their content is shared by someone they trusted. It can also cause emotional damage if future employers, universities, colleagues, friends, and family know it is online. If an image does get shared without your consent, do not blame yourself. And you can look on the next slide of how to report it and report non-consensual images or video sharing. The law states that creating or sharing sexual images or videos of a child under 18 is illegal, even if the person doing it is a child, and that's something that you need to be aware of. By sending this content to another person, they've created and distributed an indecent image of a child. By receiving this content, that person is in possession of an indecent image of a child. All of these acts break the law, and obviously the courts and the police will be involved. Now, if you want to report a sexual image or a video that you've come across, you're aware that's going around, and you're worried about it, the quicker you act, the easier it is to manage the distribution. So if there's an image or video posted on social media, you can request for it to be removed. Be specific when reporting it to show that the picture or video violates the site's terms and conditions. And don't let the fear of getting in trouble stop you from reporting. Young people will be treated as victims, and if you're worried that you've been coerced into sending explicit content, you can make a report to the Child Exploitation and Online Protection team, following the link online there. Now, if you were to see someone else's nude online, it's clear what to do, as no one deserves their image or video to be shared online without consent. If you see something that you think might upset someone, you can report the image to the platform or site you saw that content on, or contact Childline following the information here. There are many websites for online safety. Now, in September, known as Sextember each year, this is where Betsy Cadwell Health Boards have an annual sexual health campaign, which promotes awareness around sexual health matters during the month of September. Now, schools in Wales are going to be working with Betsy to raise awareness on a range of topics that we've discussed today, and topics to also complement relationships and sexual education. So back in September time, we're going to be doing a lot more in-depth understanding of sexual intercourse, thinking about sexually transmitted diseases, and also relationships. So respecting yourself and respecting each other. And over the summer break, if you do have a bit of time, use it to reflect on behaviours, on your behaviour, what you stand for, on your dignity, on how you respect yourself. And remember, you have the power to say no. And if there's a time when you haven't said no or you're concerned about something, do get in touch with other people. Now, in the meantime, for further information and support, friskywales.org, themix.org.uk and brook.org.uk is what where the Welsh Government is signposting all young people to further knowledge on this topic. And we will be looking at these resources further in Sextember and going forward. So if you do have a bit of time and you do want to explore a bit more information or just check your understanding, please do visit these websites. They are recommended by Welsh Government and Welsh Education for your knowledge. Another contact is the school nurse. Remember, Paula Jackson is available. Her number's there. And if you've got a question, if you've got a query, if you want some advice, if you want further guidance, and that the C card scheme is also available there. So sexual advice and free condoms via Paula as well. So that's an important acknowledgement there. Thank you for listening. I know it's a sensitive topic, and in September when you return, we'll carry on this topic area in a bit more detail,